Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of the Stacks Unabridged. I'm your host, Tracy Thomas, and today I am joined by four-time New York Times best-selling author, Luvvie Ajayi Jones, who you might also know as a speaker. She is a professional troublemaker. That's the name of one of her books. She also has an incredible resource for authors and writers called the Book Academy, where she will help you take a book from an idea all the way through the publishing process. And today, she and I are digging into cover design. We're talking about what makes a book work, what makes a book flop, what is a great cover, how you can know if your book has a great cover. It's a really fun and interesting conversation, and it's for all of my subscribers over on Substack and members of the Stacks Pack on Patreon. If this episode cuts out for you after about 15 minutes, that means you are not part of the Substack or the Patreon communities, and you need to join to hear the entire episode. In addition to this episode, you get inside access to the podcast, and for just $5 a month, you make it possible for me to make this show. So if that sounds like something you're into, head to patreon.com/thestacks to join our bookish community, or check out my newsletter at tracythomas.substack.com. Okay, that's enough from me. Let's get to my conversation all about cover design with Luvvie Ajayi Jones. All right, everybody, I am so excited. I think this is the first time we've ever had an episode that 100% came from Threads. I feel like this is the real proof that Threads is alive and well. I am joined today by Luvvie Ajayi Jones, who is a four-time New York Times best-selling author, a professional disruptor, a book genius also with her Book Academy, and just like an overwhelmingly interesting and fun person. So Luvvie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. So let me tell the folks where this came from. On July 3rd, you threaded out a thread that said, over the last 5 years, I've studied books and book covers, and now I can tell whether a book will sell or tank based on its cover. I haven't been wrong yet. I have access to BookScan, so I can grab numbers whenever. I just saw a cover announced, and I immediately went, ooh, emoji face. It's gonna bomb, and I hate that I know that. The color, fonts, and overall cover graphics are not good, and their ideal reader is not going to pick it up. Melty emoji face, hands over the eyes emoji face.
Mm-hmm.
This sparked, obviously, my interest as a book person. I'm not a writer. I talk to writers. I think about books. I obsess over covers. I felt like we had to do this. So here we are. We're going to start by talking about book covers. We will also talk about the Book Academy. What is your overreaching theory about book covers? Like, what is your thesis? What are you seeing about books that people are not?
So, you know that whole do not judge a book by its cover thing? Completely
Bullshit.
False. Bullshit, complete bullshit. It's the opposite. A book cover exists for the sake of somebody seeing it and being intrigued enough to pick it up and then look at the back to read what the book is about, right? So I think about books like this. Everything about a book gives you a chance for the next step. So the point of the cover is not that the cover will convince you to buy it immediately. The cover convinces you to look at the description. Description then gets you to buy. But there are a lot of times when people never pick up the cover or pick up the book to even read the back because the cover is terrible. It does not align. It does not speak to them. It is boring. It is terribly done. It has no contrast. So then people never read the back. So for me, my book covers have been super important in the ways that I have publicized my book. So for me, it's like your book cover gotta be tight. And if it's not, good luck.
So what makes a book cover tight?
Yeah. A book cover is tight when whoever you want to read it sees it and goes, I'm interested. So one, when you're writing the book, you being clear about who the book is for and who you want to pick it up is important. Then when designing the cover, whoever that is that you've pictured in your mind needs to be able to see it in a sea of other books and go, interest peaked. So what makes it good? One, a book cover where the title and the cover visuals themselves match. So for example, a grief memoir should not be like rainbow sunshine and yellow palm trees. Like, if you're going to be talking about grief, make sure the cover fits that tone and make sure it has that alignment. So if it's about grief, give it a jewel tone, give it some sort of dark color. It doesn't have to be depressing, but it needs to be like rich and dense. Like I wouldn't picture pink as a grief memoir, which again, there's exceptions to every rule, right?
Yes.
And one of those exceptions for like something that talks more about grief is the book by Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad my mom
died.
Correct. Like that's an exception. But like for most other things with that topic.
But it's not an exception, because I would argue that book, while it is about her fucked up mom, it's a comedy book. And you do get that it's going to be fun and upbeat a little bit because it's yellow and pink and her face. So it's like the contrast there, you know? So I think this backs up what you're saying, even though it is like the title is contrasting to to like the overall thing. But I do think when you pick up that book, you know, I'm getting a tongue-in-cheek thing about a fucked up family. Like, it's clear.
Right. Because she's a comedian, right? So she can get away with that. She can get away with that because usually most people who are talking about having messed up families, those books shouldn't be pink, right? You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she's a comedian is why that still aligns, because then also, light, airy, I'm a comic. I can talk about something depressing and make it funny. Yeah. Most of the people who are talking about sad things don't make it like look like a Hello Kitty book. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then other things that make a book cover good is it needs to feel timeless.
Yes.
So don't date a book cover by putting something on it. So imagine if I was writing a book about tech back in 99 and I put one of the Apple computers that had that was like lime green and teal.
Yes.
It would instantly let you know when I wrote that book. So a good book cover is timeless. And then it just does not have janky graphics. So it shouldn't look cheap. I see some people's book covers and I'm like, did you do this in Microsoft Paint? Why does this look so bootleg?
Right.
And you'll be so surprised how many people don't invest in a good book cover. Even traditionally published people, there are times when you're like, whomst did you find to put this thing together that I could have put together in 3 minutes and I have zero graphic design background?
Yeah. Yes. We're going to play a game. I put together some book covers for you to tell me. All the books are not out yet.
Okay.
So, because I know part of the thing is that you then check up after the fact to see how the book does. So I want to get you on record with some book covers. Every single book is traditionally published. I didn't do any self-published books. I feel like those are sort of two different worlds too. It's like not fair to compete. And I think what I saw you say in that thread that started was that you're really more in the nonfiction space when it comes to this. Yep. Do you have any like sense about fiction covers, like even just as a reader or as a person who just like sees books? Like, is there anything that you see going on in that space?
For fiction covers, I really like covers that like intrigue my imagination, where something about the cover takes me there already. So for example, Love Songs of Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. Phenomenal cover. I love that cover.
Such a good cover.
I love that cover because I'm instantly like, oh, this is sexy. Like the cover is sexy. Okay. And it's not even like, it's not gratuitous sexy. It's just like, it's giving me dark. It's giving me mood. It's giving me the jazz vibes.
Yes.
Perfect. The use of color, the use of font and typeface is so good. I'm like, that's a cover right there. That's it. Yeah.
You know, and her background is in magazines. And so I bet I've interviewed her before and I've talked to her about how great her covers are. And I bet that some of that is her being like, it's got to sell visually, like her understanding what a page should do and can do from working in print magazines.
Yep. Like her covers are always amazing because I've read every one of her books. They're always incredible.
So good. A lot of authors I have heard say, you know, I don't have say in my cover, or like, they just give me options and I don't get to, you know, it's my first book. And so I don't have any pull at my publisher. What do you say to those people?
So I'll give you a story about not having pull. Okay. When my first book was coming out, so my first book, I'm Judging You, the Do Better Manual, I got that deal in 2015, and then 2016 is when it came out. The first 4 covers I was sent, Tracy, atrocious is an understatement.
Okay, describe sort of the vibe, because the cover that we end up with is sort of this like kind of swoop. It's like whitish gray with sort of a swoopy font in black. There's a smiley face, like winky smiley face in red. Your name is in red. Everybody who's listening, I'm going to make a slideshow to put with this so you can see all of the covers just because it's too complicated. But we end up with a very clean red, black, and white situation. Very clean. Yes. What did they pitch you in the beginning?
Oh my God, Tracy. So the first version of the cover, which at that point I didn't even realize they were already working on my cover. They just like one day popped up, was like, by the way, we have the first 2 drafts of your cover. And I was like, oh. So I opened my email. The first cover was turquoise. And all it had on it, on the cover, was, I'm judging you. And then my name was at the bottom of that in lime green.
Okay.
And I was like, first of all, have y'all met me? What is this? So that was already bad. And I was like, immediately, no, this is the most generic looking, none of it. The thing too, for those people who have platforms, is that you want, even though you want people who don't know you to pick up the book, you want the people who are familiar with your work to feel like this is a continuation.
To recognize you.
To recognize you. A turquoise cover with my name in lime green was the opposite.
Because red was already your thing.
Red was been my thing.
Red is your thing. Okay.
That is my signature color. So in the second cover was black with a brown hand.
No.
Giving a thumbs down.
No.
And it had a pink nail and had a pink starburst with my name on it.
No.
And I was like, immediately, no. Once again, have y'all met me? What is this random hand, this random brown hand that's giving thumbs down? And then I think the tagline at that point was lessons in culture, fame, social media, something like that. And it was in yellow.
Okay.
So a black cover, brown arm, pink spot, and yellow font. And I was like, who are y'all? What is happening? One thing I knew was I didn't want to be on the cover of my book because I knew from jump I did not want to be on the cover of my book. You put me, a black woman, on the cover of a book, the only people who will pick up the book will be black women. No, and I write my books for black women first, is my first like primary avatar. Because I'm like, I always want me to be the ideal avatar, knowing that other people will buy it and really loving the fact that other people buy it. So I didn't want to limit that. If you see me on the cover of this book called I'm Judging, you're going to be like, okay, it's only for black women. And it's not. It's really for everybody who has humor. So I insisted. I was like, y'all, I can't be on my cover of my book. They're like, no, we think we should try it. So they sent me one version of my book that was me from a photo shoot that I did with one of my friends. I was wearing it was like in the snow, and I was wearing like a cupcake hat.
No.
Literally, they put a picture of me in a cupcake hat on the cover of this book that said, I'm judging you. And I said, it got so bad. I finally said, listen, we're so far from where we need to be. I am going to fly to New York next week. I need everybody who is involved with this book, the cover designer, my editor, my agent. I need them to be at the table because we got to talk about this. And I want people to remember that at this point, I was not a New York Times bestseller. This was my first ever book. Whether or not I thought I had the leverage or the power to do this, I still did it because it was that important to me. I think if there's any hill to die on as an author, if there's any place to be type A and anal, it is your cover, because you're going to spend 3 to 5 years talking about this book, holding it up next to you. If you don't like it, it will reflect. You'll be like, oh. So if there's any thing that you can wield, any sort of, listen, I know I've just got here. I know I'm new, but this is so important to me that I want to make sure we get it right. This is the hill to die on, your book cover.
All right. That is the end of this bonus teaser. If you were liking what you were hearing, you can listen to the entire episode by going to either patreon.com/thestacks and joining the Stacks Pack, getting access to the Discord, being able to participate in our virtual book club, or you can go to tracythomas.substack.com and subscribe to Unstacked, where you're going to get my writing about books, pop culture. You're going to get other exclusive author interviews, and of course, these bonus episodes. So go to one of those two places, join us, get to hear the rest of this episode, and support the work that I do by being a part of these wonderful communities. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the Stacks.